Good day everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. What I have today is how to make an A-line gown. It's a very easy one. All you need to do in this video is to take your time and watch this video to the end, and you will really enjoy this video. Thank you very much. Now I have this fabric. This fabric is 4 years. So I'm going to open it up, as you can see right here. This is the front part of this fabric. So I will be using the wrong side. Now the length of this fabric is African print. It's usually 45 inches, but because it's an A-line gown, so I won't be using making use of the length. So I'm going to turn it. So instead of folding it like this, that is making use of the length, so I won't do that. So I'm going to turn it like this. So that the length will be enough and even surplus for me. So it's of two ways. I may decide to cut the back panel first, or I fold it into 4. That is, you can see it's 2 fold. I fold it into 4 and cut both the back and the front panel together. So I'm going to show. So right now, as you can see, I've done the folding. This is how the folding is going to be. Instead of making use of the length, the normal length, which is 45, folding it from that side, I told you the other time that it won't be possible. So I've just folded from the width. So right now, you can see I've folded it, is on fold, then the down part too, which means I will be cutting both the front panel and the back panel together. So right now, what I'm going to do now is to start, but before I start, I'm going to make use of the measurement. Now I will be making use of the biggest part of the measurement, the body's measurement. Now the biggest part is of course the hip, and I have the hip of this particular one to be 48 inches. Now 48 inches I'm going to divide by 4, and when I divide 48 inches by 4, I will be having 12 inches. So because it's a free gown, so I will be adding extra 7 inches is okay. So 12 plus 7, I will be having 19 inches. So I'm going to place my tape rule. So I'm going to measure 19 inches. So I will be doing the horizontal, drawing the horizontal line, after which I explain in detail. Now, as you can see here, I've drawn the circumference line. Now, from the neckline to the armhole, I have here 10 inches. Now, from the neckline to this line marks is the waistline, and from the armhole, from the neckline to this place, I have 17 inches. Now, from the neckline also to this second, the third line here, I have it. This is the waist, the hip line. This is the hip line. So from this waist to this place, I have 8 inches, depending. The standard is between 8 and 9 inches. That is for the hip. From the waist to the hip is between 8 and 9 inches. So, and the length is 51. I'm making the length 51 plus extra 1, making it 52 altogether. So right now, I'm going to start right now. So I have the shoulder line to be 16. So 16 plus half, I will be having 16.5. So like you see, is on fold. So 16 divided by 2, I have 16 divided by 2, I have 8 inches plus half. So I will be marking 8.5 here. That is for the shoulder line. So this is my shoulder line. So right now, what I mark here, I'm going to extend it to this place. So I mark 8.5 inches here. So I'm going to extend it down to this armhole line. So I will be marking 8.5 exactly. So as you can see, I've connected the lines together. So the next thing I will be doing right now is to work on the neckline. Now it depends on how wide you want it to be, but for this one I will be using 3.5 inches for my neckline, and I have it here 3.5. So what I have here, I'm going to extend it. That is, I have 3.5 as my neckline. The depth, I will be making use of 5 inches. It totally depends on you in this regard. So I will be making use of 5 inches. Some may say it's too deep, that you may decide to make yours 4.5, but that should be the range, between 4 to 5 inches. Depends on you anyway. Now I have 3.5 for the width. I'm going to also measure here. It has to be the same 3.5 also here. So I think it's right, it's correct here. So I will just connect this line, the baseline, together. Can you see? So right now on this I will be inputting my also the back, the depth of the back neckline. So right now for the back, I will be making use of 1.5. It depends on you. You can make yours 2, but for this I will be using 1.5. So I will also extend it to this place. I mark my 1.5 here. So I connect these lines together. So right now I'll just make a slight curve. Then also here I will look for the midpoint of the front. I have 2.5. So I will just connect. So I'm done with the neckline. So right now I move to the bodies. So the bust circumference for this is 45 inches. And this 45 inches, that is the bust circumference, I'm going to divide it by 4. Whatever it gives me will be the answer or the result. 45 inches divided by 4, I will be having like like 11.75, 11.25. So because it's a free gown, so I'm going to add extra 1 inch. Okay, so instead of 11.25, I will be making it 12.25, because you know it's a free gown, so it does not require zipper. So then plus 1 inch for the seam allowance, so it will be 13.25 altogether. So I have it here, including the seam allowance. So I move down to the waist. I have the waist to be 43 inches. So So 43 inches, I will be having less than 11 inches. So let me just assume 11 inches plus 1 plus 1. So I will be having 12 to make it easy. Or I make it 11.5. So it's either I make it 11.5 or 12 just to ease it. Then plus 1 inch for the seam allowance. So I will be having less than 13 inches. That is 12 3/4 inches. So then I proceed to the hip side. Oh, sorry, my calculation was wrong. For the bust and circumference, I should have 11.5 inches. That is 11.5 inches. With the ease, gives me 11.5 inches. Now, plus 1 inch for the seam allowance. So I will be having the total of 12.5 inches. And I have, so I'm going to reduce this. 12.5 inches is okay. Now, for the waist, I will be having um 11 plus 1, giving me 12 inches. That is 11 will be for 11 times 4 will give me 44 inches plus 1, which is the seam allowance. So I will be having 12 inches on the waistline. So I have it here. So I've included the seam allowance of 1 inch also here. Then coming to the hip is 48 inches. And I'm going 48 inches divided by 4. I have 12. I have my 12 here. Plus the is less than 1 inch. So I will be having less than 13 inches. Now, plus 1 inch for the seam allowance. So I have 13.5 inches. That is for the hip. So coming to the base, so here is the base. So what I have on the hip, like on the hip side, I have the total of 13.5 inches. So that 13.5 inches, I'm going to add extra between 5 or 6. So I'll be adding 6. So 13.5 inches plus 6 will give me 19.5 inches. So I will just mark my 19.5 inches here. So whatever I have on the hip side, I will just add between 5 or 6 inches. That is it for the base. So right now, I can now connect these lines together. So I'm going to connect this line together. That is the bust to the waist, the waist to the hip, then the hip to the down parts. If you have your French curve, you can use your curve instead of this. So it will give you a perfect shape. So for the armhole, so I'm going to first reduce 1 inch for the slope, the shoulder slope. This is my 1 inch. So I'm going to connect from this point to the neckline point here. So for the armhole curve, so from there, this point, I'm going to measure, then I look for the midpoint. I have it in 4.5 inches. Now for the front, I'm going to extend it inward by quarter an inch, or half an inch. So this one will serve as the front armhole line. So I'm going to make a curve for the front first. So I'll be connecting to this, but in a curve shape. Can you see? So also from the back, so I connect. So this will be for the front, and this is for the back. So the next thing for me is to cut it out. Can you see? So it's to cut it out. So the first thing I will be doing right now is to cut the back piece first. So and I will also cut the shoulder line. Sorry, there is a mistake here. I ought to have extended this line, but no problem. No problem. So coming to the base, so I'm going to mark 1.5 inches or 2 inches. I'm marking 2 inches upward. So I'm going to make a slope to connect it to the front part here. But I will first measure. I have, let me say, 19 inches here. So the half of, so I'll be starting from 10. So that's where the connection is going to be. So can you see the curve? You can see the curve there. So I'm going to remove this. I'm done with the back piece. So this is the front piece. So I come back to the front piece. So let me first cut the neck line. Then the armhole. So I'm done with this. So the next thing I'll be doing is to cut the facing. Is to cut the facing for this and also for the front. Now to cut the facing for the front panel. So remember the other time I measured the width of the neckline to be 3.5. That's exactly what I'm going to measure here also, 3.5. Then the depth I measured 5 inches, if you still remember. So here too must be 3.5 inches. So I'm going to connect this line together. So I have the midpoint 2.5. Then I make a curve. So right now I'm going to extend this. It must not be exactly what I have on the, supposing I have 5 inches. Let me show you. Like here, what I have here I have 5 inches. So I won't make it exact the same length I have here. So I'm going to reduce it either by 1.5 or by 2. So I'll be reducing it by 1.5. So I will make it 3.5 now. So that is 5 minus 3.5 by minus 1.5. I have 3.5 left. So you could make yours 3, depends. So I'm going to curve it down. So here also I'll make it 3.5. So I can now curve. So when I cut this off, I will also cut this. So this is the front facing, the facing of the front. So when I place it on it, I will have exact what I have there. So I'm going to just slope it down a bit here, or I leave it like that. When it comes to the time, I get it. So exactly what I did here is what I will also repeat in the front. You know, the front, I reduce it by 1.5, the depth of the front. So that's exactly. And if you don't want to do it this way, you can just take your material and place it on the panel, the back panel, and use it to curve it out and cut it out. So it's 2 ways. So the next thing is to cut so I've finished cutting even the both the sleeve and the facing. Now you can see the back of the facing, the back piece facing. Here is it. So like I told you, I say you can just place it on the fabric and use your chalk to trace it out, or you can use the same measurement we used when we were cutting, when we were measuring the neckline. So this is the front facing and this is the back. Now this is the sleeve. Then this is a flat sleeve, two step. This is the smaller one, this is the bigger one. So I'm done, I've finished. So here comes the conclusion of this tutorial. I want to appreciate you all for taking your time to watch this video. Thank you very much. If this is your first time you watch my video, I welcome you to this channel. Here is a channel where you can learn a lot. You can learn how to cut and sew like what I'm doing right now. And you can also learn how to crochet different kinds of wear. You can see it's 2-in-1. So all you need to do is to click on the subscribe button below and you hit on the notification bell so that you can have access to my video. Thank you very, very much. So till I come your way again, please don't forget to like this video and don't forget to share it out. If you have any comments, don't hesitate to drop your comment in the comment section. Thank you very much. So till we meet again, bye for now.